Someone suggested that I should do a little tutorial on how to shade when you're coloring. So this is me coloring in Prismacolor on brown paper. This is a coloring page from my Goodwerks Etsy shop that I drew. And here I am coloring an apple. So the first thing I'm doing is just kind of covering the area. And it doesn't really matter if you use straight lines or circles or whatever, just whatever works for you to cover the area. And you don't want to get too much all in one spot, so you just kind of want to get a nice even coverage. So that's kind of my first layer. And I know that light generally, if you're outdoors, is coming from above, so I'm going to make the bottom a little bit darker. I've chosen a darker red here. And I'm just doing the edges and toward the bottom with a little bit darker color and sort of blending it in. No big deal. And I'm making the edges a little darker. And when you're coloring in Prismacolor, you can do a lot of layers, and in this case I can still see some of the brown paper underneath, and that's okay. I'm just building up that color a little bit. Now I have a lighter, this is still a red, but it's more on the orange side, and that's warming up that red even more. I'm making it a little bit more vibrant, and I'm just continuing to add layers and make that apple blush just a little bit more with an orange red. Now at this point I might want things warmer still, and I can add a little bit of yellow right on top of the red. And this is a thing I just love to do. I love colors to look warm, and so lots of times I will add a whole layer of yellow on top of everything. When we still don't have full coverage of the paper, you can still see a little bit of the paper through here. And I'm adding, and I decided I want the inside of the apple to look a little yellowish. Now at this point, I'm thinking about what other colors might be in an apple, and a lot of the time they're kind of green right where the stem comes out. So I'm adding a light green just in that area. And oh heck, I might add a few other little splotches. I'm not sure you'll even be able to see them, but I add a little bit more green. It depends on what kind of apple you're drawing here. Now at this point I'm really starting to color darker. I'm pressing harder with my Prismacolor, and you can see me often breaking my point at this point because I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to cover all those little flecks of white underneath. I'm trying to get some more full coverage in some areas where I really want a vibrant color. So I'm coloring pretty hard at this point, and there's going to be a point here where I can't get any more Prismacolor to stick because it has built up. Once you've got like 100% on there, you can't get any more on. You notice that I'm leaving a few areas that are not colored. So at this point, I'm going to look at a real apple and look at the colors in it, and I see those two little white spots toward the sides, and I notice that there's kind of a dark area in the middle. So I'm coloring the middle of this darker, and I'm leaving two little shoulder spots right at the top part where the light would be hitting it. When I think about light, I sometimes think of it as like, what if you were hitting it with a hose or some direct source of something? If the light is coming from above, it's gonna hit most on on the shoulders of the apple, and those are gonna be the areas where you have the most light. And then it's going to get continuously darker the further away you get from those main points where it's hitting. So I don't know if that helps any, but that helps me to, I don't always really pay attention to my light source as much as I should, but if you think about where's the light coming from and then make everything the lightest in the area where the light first hits, and then make it get darker as it recedes away from that area, that can help. I don't like to look at the photo or look at a photo while I'm drawing children's illustration because I don't want it to look too real. I actually only take a quick glance at a photo and then look away and don't look at the photo again, because I want it to be partly my imagination but informed by reality. Here I am adding some white to make the inside of the apple, and you can see I'm adding white to those areas closer to the sky where the sun is hitting, and I'm really going to lighten up those little patches that I'm calling the shoulders. So color, color, color. As you can see, it's getting lighter in those areas. With Prismacolor, again, you can add white after you already have some color on there. And as long as you don't have too much color on, it will stick right on top and it'll change your dark color to being a little bit lighter. Now, I decided I want to make my dark areas even darker, and so now I have a dark brown that I'm using to just add a little shadow to the red. It's not going to make it brown, it's just going to make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to add some shadows in those areas. I love this. I think it might be burnt umber, this dark brown. It's great for a lot of things. And in my drawings, I print them in brown on brown papers, so if you want to make a little edit to the drawing or change it, you can use dark brown to draw your own lines in. Now at this point, I am going to need to sharpen my white pencil, because there's one more thing I noticed when I was looking at that picture of an apple, is that they have a lot of little white dots on them. So I sharpened my white pencil and I can add some little white dots right on top. And pretty soon here you're going to see me, there I broke my pencil lead. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. Prismacolors are very fragile and easy to break. But you can see these dots actually really do show up, and that's pretty cool.